Hey guys, it's Alvy with Dad Vets. I forgot about the microphone features on the GoPro, so I will be narrating this video. This is my trip solo down Little Manatee River, doing a catch, cook, and eat, and a bushcraft survival type deal. I only took a few things with me. I took the kayak, which you see there obviously, 2 gallons of water. I took a machete, a multi-tool, fishing line, hooks, a BB gun, and a ferro rod. So paddling down the Little Manatee River is, as you can see, it's gorgeous. The water is brackish. It's a mix of salt and fresh water. You have a mixture of fresh and saltwater fish along with that. So you have your bass and catfish, but you also have your snook, redfish, along with bait fish to go along with it. As you paddle through, the oak trees they overhang the entire river. I mean, there's a few spots where it's pretty clear, but for the most part, this is what it is, and it even gets thicker as you paddle down. It's a nice day trip. They could be done in a matter of hours, but I decided to just make the night of it and go from there. Test my abilities to say. So, yeah. Again, Little Manatee River. It's in Florida, and it's beautiful. So if you ever have the opportunity and you want to paddle, I suggest trying it. So as we paddle up here, I see this spot over on the left-hand side with sand and a nice little slope. I've checked it out. I was thinking it could be my spot for the night. It did look nice. The sand was pretty nice. I mean, you stepped in it, and you did sink a little bit, but let's see. As I was looking around, and there were a lot of deer tracks, and some big, some small. But I decided to let this place, let this place go. I didn't end up staying here. There weren't that many resources here for me. I mean, it was a beautiful spot. Could have been nice. It would have been nice, but I wanted some extra cover, and it just didn't feel right. So I kept going. But again, it was beautiful. You can see that that's what it looks like at this part of the river. Nothing out there. It's just wilderness. It's beautiful. And this is the spot I finally decided to stop and make camp for the night. Just checking out the area. Earlier when I said swamp, this is what I mean. The ground isn't, it's not Florida Everglades swamp, but it is pretty swampy. Here I'm trying to show you guys the wild boar, the rutting. So they'll come in and they will just rut all over the place. This is they're looking for anything they can find, anything under the ground that they can eat. But this is what they do. They do this damage to where they just rip it all up. And there's tons of trails back here from what they're doing. And it's happening. It's happening all over the U.S. now, from what I've seen and read. But there's a little creek back there, and yeah, this is an area of my spot. I wanted to check out, a little bit beyond where I was going to be setting up, just to see what's around. And you never know. I did pass a few orange trees as I was paddling down the river, and I was thinking of stopping, but I didn't. And so I was also looking for some fruit trees as well, but didn't find any. So no orange juice in the morning for me, but it's a beautiful spot. I was just looking to see if there's any fish or any movement, anything going on in here. So I'm at my spot, and I have my camera set up and getting some firewood. I picked this spot right here with these 2 oak trees that fell over. It was beautiful. Oh, and there I am talking to myself in the camera that's not recording my voice. But what can you do? We live and we learn. Now, what did I find here? It was strange. It was just, you know, it's a hoof, like, you know, some type of cow hoof. It looked like maybe a rawhide or something. Who knows? Somebody could have been here at one point, and it's a rawhide from or one of the dog chew things. So. Oh, look, found another stick. And this was a great spot to build a shelter, you know, with these trees. So, gathering all the things, and I got plenty of supplies to build my shelter. All these sticks and branches, and boom, there is my shelter. I built that out of everything I found out there, you know, just a bunch of sticks. I know, it looks good, but hey, you know, it's not the Hilton, but, and yes, that's me talking about food, clearly. So here we go on our fire mission. There's my machete and my ferro rod, magnesium stick. So I have a little pile of tinder here, and what I'm doing is I'm scraping off pieces of magnesium to get the tinder to light. So that way it'll catch, once the magnesium starts to burn, the theory is that you put a spark to it and the magnesium will start to burn and catch the tinder on fire. So it took me a few times. It took me like 4 minutes, 7 minutes to 7 minutes I think to finally get the fire started. And I knew I should have just scraped a little bit more, but I was like, I could probably get it done. So if you don't do it right the first time, you're just gonna have to do it again. That took me 3 total attempts. And this is number 3. This is the 3rd attempt. I see I'm scraping off a lot of the magnesium to get a little pile on the on my tinder bundle. Switched in a couple times. That's what I don't like about, you know, this particular fire starter, is because of the, you know, it's just so small. But as you can see, I made my magnesium pile there, and which I should have done the first time. Then let's put some more on just for good measure. One, two, what do we have? 3? Was that 3? 3 strikes and we had fire. That's how it's done. Well, that should have been how it's done the first time, but you know. So, but a good thing to do is when you get your tinder pile there, you get your good tinder pile. Then on the side, you know, next to it, you want to have your sticks, and you want to have them separated in little piles of smallest to larger, because right when you get that tinder pile going, you're gonna want to put in the little twigs. The little twigs on top, they'll catch, and then, you know, as the fire starts to burn, then you can put on bigger and better pieces of wood. Man, I should have just done that the first time. the machete I used, I still call it a machete. I've had that machete for a few years now, and at some point I was doing yard work, and I actually broke it. I broke, a good section off the top. So I ended up grinding it down, putting the serrated edge on the opposite side of the sharp end, or sharp side of it. And I like it. It's perfect size. It works well, and it has character. Who doesn't like character? I did find it funny that I initially put my firewood on the right side, as you guys can see, and then after I got the fire started, I guess my OCD kicked in, and I was like, hey, let's just put it in a neat pile by this tree over here. So that's what I'm doing there. I just, killing time. No, I'm not arguing with myself right now on where to put the firewood pile. I am talking about just the area and how gorgeous it is up there. Many of you may think that is a GoPro Mini, like a new edition. No, that's not the case. That is a GoPro, and it's not the camera that's small. Yeah. So this is my fishing line. I found this bottle. I had a feeling that I would find a plastic bottle somewhere on the bank, and I did. I found one plastic bottle, one or two glass bottles in this area that was in. Didn't use the glass bottles. I packed them up though and took them with me to throw away. So what I did was I took the plastic bottle and I wrapped a bunch of fishing line on it, and made, kind of like a makeshift rod and reel type deal. So that's me reeling it in, and then you take a good amount and you just swing it in circles pretty fast where you want it to go, let it go, and it just unspools off the bottle. And that time I caught a tree. Good tree though, and I got it off at some point. There it is. But this is my attempt at dinner, and I just really didn't feel like trees were going to be on the menu that night. I had enough in my area that I didn't need to catch anymore. So this method, this little jig I had, it was on a hook. It just wasn't producing anything. I tried and tried and tried for a few hours, so eventually I just took a break from it, and what I did was I think I was reeling the line in, and I heard something in the trees behind me. Ended up being a squirrel, so I grabbed the BB gun and I got squirrel. I have had squirrel before. It's quite delicious actually. But what I did was, after I cleaned that and got it ready to cook, I took the the insides. I used the liver, and I put the liver on this rod and reel that I made, and I took that liver, hooked it up, tossed it out into the water, hopefully trying to catch something. And I just waited. But we're getting to that. This is just continual attempts. I mean, I've used this method of fishing before. I do have rods and reels, but I wanted to see what I could do with limited resources. This jig that I'm throwing in it's a jig that's meant to be reeled in continually. And if you ever think you can't catch something with it, just by this method, you can. But just on this jig, they weren't biting it. I have caught bass and crappie. I've caught gar with this type of setup. It works when you're in a pinch. A key is to keep the bottle inflated as much air so it doesn't crinkle down. So after fishing and fishing and fishing, I went ahead and put that piece of liver in the water, and I think it was about 2-3 hours, and I finally caught something. It was unexpected, but I'm trying to get it ready for you guys to see. And I'm talking, but there it is. So we have a catfish. Now you might say, hey, that's a little tiny catfish. Well, I wear a size 10 shoe. No, not the biggest, but that's my foot next to it. So, winner. We have dinner. Well, sorry if you guys didn't like the dispatching of the fish and cleaning it out, but I definitely did it quickly, and I did it so that way I can, you know, be sure to not let this animal go to waste. After I cleaned it, what I did was I went ahead and there I'm cleaning it out, filleting it up a little bit. Well, not just filleting it, but making sure it's cleaned out, putting slits in the sides as well, so that way I can cook it, which I'm going to show you guys how I do. The first part is I did bring seasoning with me. I did forget that. I figured, hey, if I'm going to be out here surviving, I'm definitely going to have some seasoning. So I brought some Everglades seasoning. I know, that's not wilderness survival, but yeah, but why not? I did have it, so gotta enjoy some luxuries, right? So, I mean, my multi-tool wasn't as sharp as I thought. Another mistake that I've learned from. So I had to use the machete to take care of business with the catfish, but it got the job done. So this is me. I was explaining how I'm gonna cook it. So I grabbed my machete and I headed off to find some palm fronds because this wood wasn't gonna work. It's dry wood and it will just catch on fire if you put it over the fire. So I went ahead and was looking around, thinking, but I figured out what I was gonna do. in come the palm fronds. Boom, just like magic. So these guys are from the South Palmetto. Grows all over in Florida here. But what I did was I went ahead and cut off the stem, I guess we'll call it the stem, of the frond, and I saved them. Okay, and as you see, as we go along, I end up taking the fish and wrapping it in the palm frond so that way I could cook it a little bit first, kind of steam it so that way it doesn't get too burnt on the outside. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just separating it, and I kept those stalks, the stems or stalks. I kept those as a way to. At first, I was cooking the squirrel, which I mentioned that I caught earlier, but as you'll see, I use them to hold up the squirrel and eventually the fish over the fire, so that way it doesn't burn. And those palm fronds, I kept them into the night once they were placed in the ground, and they didn't catch fire until I was ready for bed. Normally that's like 6 o'clock, but this time it was a little bit later.